I'm wondering, can you see me during that?
Yes, I can see you.
All right. Aaron Whitlow.
and yeah, we're live. I'm Brandon Spivey, and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters. We're the
And
most
today,
unprofessional YouTubers of all time.
we really are. And on today's episode, we're doing a review of Brewsters Millions from 1985, which is a fan request by Bilfer the Hobbit, and he's not even here to watch it. Or maybe it is. There's one person watching. It may be Bilfer, or it might not be. We'll find out. But anyway, Brandon, anything you want to talk about before we get into Brewster's Millions?
Well, I didn't see anything, so can't really talk about that because I didn't see anything.
It's a big week for Fast and Furious fans because the new one comes out,
Yeah,
which I am not excited about, to be honest.
I am, and it's a shocker because the last one sucked so bad. But it looks like it's gonna be fun. It looks like a fun Fast and Furious film. Besides, whatever the last one was. I don't know.
How do you feel about Jason Momoa being in it this time around?
He's one of the reasons I'm excited because he looks like he's playing a great villain, something they have lacked. I just hope at the end of the movie he doesn't join the family. Because that's cliche and that's what they do every single time. That's what happens. It was Statham. Well, The Rock first of all, Statham. Then it was John Cena. Now it's Jason Momoa. Also, The Rock is returning. They spoiled that themselves.
Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they spoiled it for me. I spoiled it for you, who's not going to watch. So, yeah, he's the end credit scene, which I found funny that they spoiled it because he spoiled, Superman. And they spoiled his return. So I don't know. I don't think anyone's excited that he's returning, though.
No,
I haven't really heard people talk about it. So.
But yeah, today we're doing Brewster's Millions. The connection's going in and out, so we'll see what happens. So I will do a quick little playing of the trailer. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. We'll see. Oh no! Yep, I'm right. Okay, here we go. Brewster's Millions.
Money. Everyone wants it. Until now, Monty Brewster didn't have it.
They tell me you're my only living relative.
But he just made money the old-fashioned way.
You have 30 days in which to spend $30 million.
He inherited it.
If you can do it, you get 300. But if you fail, don't get diddly.
Why can't I tell my friends?
Because I don't want anybody to help me out.
What's wrong? Spike, what's wrong? $30 million. The man just got $30 million coming to him. This is
All right. I'm going to stop it because it's cutting in and out. Stop sharing. Hopefully Brandon's still with me.
I'm here. It only cut in and out on your end. It was fine on mine.
Oh, okay. Cool. So Brewster's Millions, the 1985 film starring Richard Pryor, John Candy, and as Brandon kept alerting me yesterday, a plethora of 80s who's cameos.
Yes. Oh, it was so many. It had the dude from Over the Top who's like a bodyguard for the Cutler dude. It had Grandma Winslow from Family Matters. It had
who was he? Who was he? Who was the bodyguard from Over the Top?
I don't know his name. It's literally the only movie.
Who was he in this movie?
Oh, he was one of the guys that they get into a fight with. The clean-shaven dude.
Was it the black dude or the white guy?
He's a white guy.
All right, so it's funny because the black guy in this, and I can say because I literally don't know his name, but I know his face. But you might recognize him from Die Hard. He was one of the FBI agents.
Oh yeah.
Remember the other guy from the Goonies was the other agent?
Yeah.
That's him. So yeah, I was like, hey, that guy. I don't remember his name, but he's in this movie. But I didn't recognize the dude from Over the Top though. I guess I've never seen that as much. I've seen it maybe once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of the bodyguards for the Cutler residence. But yeah, it had a lot of people. It even had Bubba from In the Heat of the Night in it towards the end. He was one of the announcers during the ball game. So
Is that who that? Yeah, I knew he looked familiar. I thought he was a baseball player. Was he? Was he? He was one of the announcers. Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's from the TV show In the Heat of the Night, not
Yeah.
the movie, right? Okay.
yeah, TV show. Bubba Skinner.
And I know you noticed the cameo from Rick Moranis.
Oh yeah. It was. You kind of had to. I mean, you got John in it, so you kind of had to. I mean, it's good to see Rick again. Totally caught me off guard. Was not expecting Rick Moranis.
He played totally against character, like as far as like how he usually plays in movies.
Yeah.
He usually plays the dopey parent or the genius or the the nerd, but he's like he was like almost like a traveling salesman, just the way that he kind of came across. But I was like, I wanted more of him in the movie. I thought he's gonna be in there longer. I was like, I hope Rick is in there more, but he wasn't.
So, how did you feel about the Richard Pryor and John Candy in the movie?
Before I get there,
Okay.
let me. So I want to explain some things to people. Brewsters Millions. So, all right, he had a rich billionaire, billionaire type of uncle, great uncle or whatever.
Yeah.
Who and Richard Pryor was the last descendant of the guy, and so he leaves him all his money. But a couple of things, there's a wimp clause that if he wants, he could walk away doing nothing with $1 million. He would have been an instant millionaire. The other thing is, so he's a minor league baseball player, but he must spend $30 million in 30 days in order to inherit $300 million. However, he's not allowed to own any assets, destroy the money, gift it, or give it to charity, or tell anyone about the deal. He can give it. That's not true. He can give it to charity. He just can give it only a little bit. He can't give it all to charity. But he can't destroy it, or own anything. So my first question for you, Brandon, is what deal would you have taken?
Oh, I probably would have took the $1 million.
This is your episode, Bilfer, by the way.
I probably would have took the $1 million. I don't think I could spend $30 million in 30 days. So I really don't. I mean, I guess I could, but no, you can't have any assets. So yeah, it wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, it'd be hard. I think I would have honestly took just $1 million, and it's walking away from a lot of money. But $1 million is a lot of money. I don't think I could have done it either. Thanks, fellas. You're welcome, Bilfer. Yeah, I don't think that I could have definitely do the 30 have $30 million to spend. I think Richard did a great job in spending it, like the way that he started off spending it. Like he's like, hey, I need security. I can't walk around without this money. You want to work here?
Yeah.
I'll pay you $10,000 a week or something like that. And then the guys, I paid them $5,000, and then just spending it that way, like deducting. But there's no way I could have done it.
I mean, talking about 30 million here. I mean, look, I've never in my whole life I haven't even spent $1 million. So.
Oh, Bilford says 30 million in 30 days easy. I'm curious to know how you do it.
Well, maybe Bilford's a millionaire. Maybe he makes a lot of money. I do not. So I just don't think I could personally, but
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you though, you brought it up that he was paying all these people. What did you think about the taxi driver that he wanted him to, was it 3 limousines? Yeah, it just stuck with me, the limousines he wanted, and he wanted to pay them for their services. I think it was like, was it 20,000 each?
Probably.
Or?
Yeah, something like that.
Bilford says he would fly to space with Mr. Elon Musk. Are they still doing that? Is he still
how much does it cost to fly to space? Is it 30
millions?
million?
Huh? Yeah, I know it costs at least a few million, just from what I was seeing on CNN about it.
So he'll probably do like two or three trips and spend it that way. That's a lot of space travel, though.
That's a lot of trust in
Elon Musk.
Yes, it's
But
when the camera's on, I think you're safe. But when those cameras aren't on, I wouldn't trust him.
all right. Well, he owns everything now. No, I'm just playing. No, he owns Twitter, which that's fine. Anyway,
He owns Twitter, and a lot of people got off Twitter.
I didn't get off Twitter, but I just don't. But I'm not usually on Twitter. I'm more on Facebook. I'm more on Instagram and TikTok, which is Chinese. Anyway, that's a smell. But anyway,
Wow.
yeah, you asked me initially. You asked me what I thought about the chemistry between Candy and Pryor together.
Yeah, I'm curious to know.
I think John Candy makes anybody. Well, not saying Richard's bad, but Richard Pryor with Gene Wilder is like money. But it was odd to see Richard with John. But I would love to see them do more together. But it felt like from John, it felt like genuine friendship. Like John Candy's that good that he comes across as a genuine friend. Richard, it seems like they're friends, but not as close. You know?
Yeah, I get that. I thought John was gold in this, and I haven't always been the biggest John Candy fan because I hadn't seen all of his films either. I mean, I always like stick with Uncle Buck and Cool Runnings and that other one he did with his family on vacation.
Summer Rental, I think.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, those are the three main ones I know him from. So I had never seen this, and this is my only second time watching Richard Pryor. First one was Harlem Nights, which I thought he was fine, but he's not the comic genius that you hear or see in his, in his material. Which I have never seen the Gene Wilder film, so I don't know if you get that type of character or not. But I don't know. I guess I'm a little disappointed because he is considered one of the all-time greats, and I don't feel like I've seen that yet on film. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, but I think he did fine here. I didn't hate his performance or anything. I thought he was genuinely funny in the first act. Like I thought they worked well together in the first act. But
how many Richard Pryor movies have you seen?
Just two
that you could think of. What's the two?
This one and Harlem Nights with Eddie and.
Okay. Yeah, Richard, man, I love Richard. Richard Pryor is probably one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time. Actually, he's like one of my favorites. I would say top 5 would be Richard, and I know it's unfair because most of them are black, if not all of them. It is what it is. But Richard Pryor, Sinbad, Eddie, Dave Chappelle, and then I'm
gonna be upset if you don't say Robin.
Well, you know what? I never really like Robin in stand-up. I like Robin in film. I like it. I don't like him in stand-up. But again, remember, you gotta realize, man. When I seen Robin Williams, I remember the Relief Aid stuff they did with HBO. I think him and Whoopi and stuff. Back then, I just didn't understand his energy. I didn't understand what was going on. But I would be interested to go back and revisit his stand-up. I never really seen it. But I would say, honestly, the fifth would probably be Mitch Hedberg. Mitch, man, was just his delivery was hilarious. So I would say Mitch. Those are my top 5 stand-ups, though.
Wow. I don't even know what my top 5 would be. I know my top 2 is Eddie and Robin, though. But I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
Have
But
you actually seen some Robin stand-ups?
yeah. I'm a much bigger fan of Robin on stand-up than film, even though I think he's an amazing actor, or he was. But I love his stand-up.
It's interesting. Maybe you could choose one and we can watch it sometime. And maybe I could choose a Richard stand-up and we'll watch it. But yeah, I thought the stronger person in this film was John. It seems like at most parts Richard was kind of phoning it in a little bit. Not, I mean, this is right after I think his accident, because you can tell with his face a little bit. You can see some scar tissue still from his burn.
Yeah.
But it was probably in a different place. But what I liked about Richard, and this is because you said you don't really know a lot of his stuff. So Harlem Nights was older Richard, and Richard was playing it more laid back. It's kind of a slower type of thing. Richard stuff like this, the toy, he has manic energy. He has manic, and that's what you get from this is manic energy. He's like, oh yeah, it's like he's kind of firing off, and that's what he is, just really quick and stuff like that. So if you look at the toy, you look at this, you look at Stir Crazy, those are kind of what you get with Richard Pryor. Even Hear No Evil, See No Evil. But he later, like I said, with Harlem Nights, he was playing a different role, and he was going into a different role then. So
Bill for commented a few.
Bill for blowing it up. Let's see. I would fly to space with Elon. He said that. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Is that one of your favorites? I really liked it. Oh, come on. Get out of here with Superman 3. I don't
Aaron, you froze on me.
I'm here.
Okay.
Am I here now?
Yeah. All I know, you were dissing Superman 3 and it cut out.
well, Richard Donner, no, but Superman 3, I felt like it was just like, it lacked. I didn't like Richard Pryor in it. I thought that they tried to make it more comic relief. I don't think he worked well with Christopher Reeves. I just don't like it. Just like I hate Superman 3 more than I hate Superman 4. And that's with the dude, I think, that is from space. The other guy, like with blonde hair. I think it's that one.
I honestly can't tell you. I've only seen the first one.
You only seen the first one?
Yeah.
You never seen Superman 2, which is the best one?
Nope.
Dude.
I wasn't big on Superman until like Zack Snyder did Man of Steel. Like I had never seen a Superman film until that moment. So and I got free tickets to that movie, so I went and seen it. I had no idea what they were trying to do. It makes sense they were trying to copy Marvel at the time, but I enjoyed it. I really liked that version of him, but I've never went back and watched like all the Superman films, or like I still haven't seen Smallville.
Oh Lord, I love Smallville. So
my history with Superman is very limited.
I do want to mention some more people that's in this film. To note, one is more controversial than others. Stephen Collins, the father from Party of Five, he is now blacklisted, like because he got caught with child minor things they shouldn't have had. You know what I mean?
Didn't know this, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, but he's now blackballed. Kneel before Zod. Yes.
Poor timing there. Talking about
God. Oh, this is the Markout Movie Podcast. But yeah, he was a snake in the grass in this movie. It was just a random thing to have him. Hey, you should do the interior decoration for me. It's just like a weird plot device. I didn't like about that.
Oh, that's who he is. That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I can see it now. Watching
Like
this movie,
his
yeah,
controversy.
I can see him being that way. Yeah, he came off like a little creep in this movie. I thought.
Yeah, he later on like they casted him in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to play like the father of D and Sweet D and Glenn's character, but Dennis. They cast him to be their father, but then he was dropped from the role essentially because there's controversy that happened. Uh, yeah, he's no longer acting. He's still alive today, but yeah, and also Angela Drake, Lynette McKee, who played like Angela Drake, the accountant. She was a big time Broadway actress and things like that, and theatrical actress, and taught acting. So she's still around today as well. But the other person I wanted to really bring up was Jerry Orbach. What did you think about seeing old Jerry in this film?
Jerry who?
Orbach. He played the coach. You might know him from SVU or the original Law and Order.
Didn't watch it.
What?
Oh! You're talking about Baby's dad.
Yeah, Baby's dad. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's all you know him from.
That's where I know him from. Yeah,
Baby's dad.
Yeah,
This guy.
yeah. I've only seen the reruns, certain reruns of SVU. So I was like, who's he talking about? Then it hit me. I had him pictured in my head. Oh, that's Baby's dad he's talking about. Okay, yeah. I thought it was cool seeing him. Didn't he like die when that show was like big time?
So yeah, he passed away years later from cancer. Bilford says Angela Drake, and I guess he likes Angela Drake. Yeah, she was a big time actress, like especially in the 80s. She was in Sparkle. She, she was like back, especially in the African American community. She's kind of major, but I don't know, man. It's just this movie. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun. Just seeing how he spends the money.
Yeah.
And that was the fun aspect of it. But I didn't believe the relationship or the love relationship he was developing with Angela. I felt like it was kind of forced.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. They didn't give him much time to develop any kind of chemistry.
No. Oh, heck yeah. You missed it. We was gushing about John Candy.
Yeah, John's the best part of the movie, in my opinion.
John Candy, listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you, Bilfer. I'm a huge John Candy fan to the point where when he died, I cried. I literally cried about it because it was like I've always had a admiration for John Candy. And so just anytime I see him in movies, it just brings back that like thrill of just, and Rick Moranis does the same thing for me. And so it's great seeing him. Just Rick Moranis is one of those guys too. When you see him, I'm like, hey, Rick Moranis, and just kind of makes you happy to see him.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about John Candy. But that's me.
Yeah, I mean, he's the bigger Candy fan. I like him. I like him a lot more today than I did when I was growing up. Like,
was it Spaceballs that did it for you?
I mean, Spaceballs is one of those films, man. It's better than the whole Star Wars franchise, in my opinion. And I know it's probably controversial. I feel it is, though. I feel it's the best Star Wars movie of all time. And it's a spoof. I love that. But, yeah, I mean, that did it for me. I've always liked him in Uncle Buck and Summer Rental. Those movies I always did love. But watching Spaceballs, that was a treat. And I will always have love for the guy after that. I mean, and so when we do pick a movie that he's in, it's a treat because I know he's going to give a good performance. He Absolutely. Just wasn't someone I grew up watching. It was my guy back then, still my guy, Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, and a lot of Chris Farley. I was more of the 90s brand than the 80s.
I'm more of the '80s, so it's true. It makes sense. It makes sense because I would say the contemporary in that time frame in the '90s would have been Chris Farley to John
Yeah.
Candy. I never was, but then it's like I never was a John Belushi guy because when he died like when I was a baby, I guess, whatever. And so I never really grew up watching any of John Belushi stuff, or so I'm not a big John Belushi person. He doesn't hold that place for me like John Candy does. So
Yeah, I was more of a Dan Aykroyd fan,
Yeah.
even though he like, I don't know, he just got away from comedy. I guess after Belushi died, it feels like that he did drama. It's a total career change, but I was always more of a fan of Dan Aykroyd's comedies than Belushi. But
Yeah.
but Belushi's more talented. But
Dan is one of those guys too that you kind of cheer when you see him pop up in something.
Yeah.
Like even to this day, like I loved, like, so it was a crazy thing because I'm a big John Cusack fan, and so when he popped up in Grosse Pointe Blank with Grosse Pointe Blank, yeah, with John Cusack,
Mm-hmm.
it was like for me like major because I was like two guys I really enjoy in the movie together. It's crazy how big of a fan I am of John Cusack. So
Yeah, he needs a resurgence.
he really does.
He's too talented not to be stuck where he is.
I'm so sorry to change the topic. Fast X is amazing. My mind is blown. Oh,
And I am so shocked to hear this from you. I just am. I mean, you're always about artsy films. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get something like this, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm not dissing it at all. I just my mind is blown that you love it.
Is it amazing because it's bad, like comedically bad, or is it amazing because it's like cinematic, like, and I love it? Was it a fun time? I'm just curious. No spoilers, but I plan on trying to see it if I can this weekend.
I guarantee you one reason he loves it is because of Jason Momoa. He's the one part that I've heard even critics that didn't like it said he was awesome in it.
I'm going to go ahead and put out this, and people's going to hate me. I don't see the big whoop about Jason Momoa. I really don't. I've yet to see anything where I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm glad he's in this. I didn't like Aquaman as much. I mean, he was okay in it, but I didn't.
Wow.
I know. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
You're breaking all the Momoa fans' hearts today.
Oh, they're gonna unsubscribe to us. All two of them.
Oh, look.
It's amazing because unbounded imagination and fun. Okay, that's what. If you have a letterbox, I hope that's what you put as your quote for this movie.
Unbounded. I love that.
Brandon's laughing.
It makes me want to see it more now.
All right, back to old Brewster Million. Another thing, man, that I really, I mean, the plot in it is pretty simple. You got this money. You got to spend it all. Nobody can know why you're doing it, so you're gonna look crazy. One thing I wish they would have did at the very end is after he got the 300 million, I wish that they would have showed something where he would have went to like those core people that kind of stuck with him and said, "This is why I did it," and I'm still gonna keep you on. Because you think about all these people that he hired and got to leave jobs to work for him, they're still gonna be unemployed. Like think about the security guard guy; he was still gonna be unemployed. Yeah. Now the security guard guy, I want to talk about something. The black guy, the security guard dude. I haven't seen him in much, but every time I see him, he's in Harlem Nights at the very beginning. He's the guy that quick as the little boy shoots. He's the one that is gambling and says, "Daddy needs a new pair of shoes and Mama needs some new slipper." And then Rich Price says, "You need a new set of teeth," because he had a snag a tooth, no teeth. But it's that guy. So he is good to see him as a young actor. He was also in Roots, which I don't remember him in Roots. And and I haven't seen Roots in so long. I own it. It's right there. I have all of them. But I haven't seen that in a long time. But it was just really good to see that guy.
Really good to see that guy.
Yeah, it
Aaron's
really
getting
is.
excited. Aaron's getting excited about this guy.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question, though, towards the end when he does get all the money. Did you expect him to get the money? I thought it was going to be some kind of message where he doesn't get all the money. Like, it was a humbling experience, for him.
Or they return, or they says, "I don't want the money."
Yeah, I didn't really expect him to keep it. But, I don't know. It's just the way the movie was going, how he was acting towards the end. It just.
At one point, he says, "I'm tired of money."
Yeah.
And there was a YouTuber that I watched a review for. I don't know his name, and I'm sorry, YouTuber, but he said, I guess Bifford said something. You looking?
Yeah.
In the 1980s, jobs was plentiful. I would quit for $200K salary. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
I would quit for a $200K salary too.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying, would for say for instance the security guard, he quit knowing that I'm going to pay you $1,000 a week or $5,000 or $10,000 a week or whatever it was, and then like at the end of it, all he knows is Brewster Montgomery doesn't have any money to his name left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the movie, all you know is him and his best friend John Candy and all the other people think, well, he ain't got no more money. I did like the idea. I did like what happened though when he lost all his money. How fast people turned on him, turned away from him. I thought that was kind of telling. Like people want to be around you and want to be with you as long as you can do something for them. The moment that you can't, then
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's the truth. That's the nature of humans, certain humans anyway. I mean, you can't help them out anymore. They don't want nothing to do with you. It's just, I mean, you see that every day with people somewhere. I mean, that's reality. And that was probably the most true thing in this whole movie, how people turned on him once they weren't benefiting being around him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sad, but that's true.
But yeah, I absolutely. I thought the movie, for what it's worth, wasn't a bad movie. It was kind of what movie came to mind? And correct me if I'm wrong. Was Mr. Deeds? I'm talking about the Adam Sandler. Was there a clause in there where he couldn't do something, or something happened and he'll lose the money? Was that a thing?
I think so.
Okay. That's what
so.
kind of put me in the mind of it. Actually,
I was thinking I've seen something similar to this. I wasn't even thinking about Mr. Deeds, but yeah, that's it. It's a very similar movie. He gets all this money, but I forget what it was that he could not do, or he would lose it, but he ends up giving it away to the John Turturro's character, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's what I was expecting to have. He was just going to give it away to somebody, but that's not how it went. But that's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting him to keep it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what other movie kind of has that same plot device. If somebody gets a lot of money, but something happens and you got so much time to do something with it.
Yeah.
And Mr. D's the only thing coming to mind, but I know there's another one, and I can't think of it, where that's something similar. Because I thought about it last night. I wish I would have took note of it. Because I was like, oh, that reminds me of fill in the blank. But I can't remember what that fill in the blank was. But the plot device wasn't bad. He's going to come off as a crazy person.
Yeah.
Because anybody that would just be wasteful, and it might be also the message as well as how easy and quick it is to spend your money on nothing.
Yeah, I think that aspect of the movie was kind of showing how people in Hollywood, when they get their start, they blow up, how they just waste money. I know one actor that comes to mind was Corey Feldman. He said he wasted all his money in those early years. And when he hit bottom, Hollywood gave up on him. He didn't have anything. So that's what I thought of when he was wasting all his money. You know, I thought that was kind of telling about how people become stars overnight, basically, and, you know, just spend it on anything. They don't think it's going to stop.
The one guy that, you know, I honestly thought that he was working against him, but he wasn't. I misremembered. The actor Pat Hingle, who played Edward Ramfield, the guy that was like said, I'm neutral in this.
Yeah.
At first, when he said that, I was like, yeah, right. But no, he was literally neutral, and would let him know, well, hey, you're gonna win this election. You know, it comes with a salary of this, and so he forfeited the election. But that guy, like, I liked his character in this movie. He was very neutral. Also, Trading Places, maybe it's what puts me in the mind of too, right? Maybe
a little bit, yeah. Because, you know, Eddie comes into all this money, Dan's homeless. So, yeah, I don't remember too much about that movie, though. It was never one of my favorites. I think I've only seen it once. But I think that was kind of the plot.
Came out in 83, Trading Places. So this came out in 85. I think in the original, well, I don't know if it's the original Brewsters Millions, but I've seen the plot of one of the original ones that came out like either 1935 or 1945. I'm not sure. The Brewster person has a year to spend the money, and it's still millions dollars, or I don't know if it's like more multi-million or what, but I mean, you got to think about inflation, whatever it would have been then.
Yeah.
Compared to like 1980. So if they would have remake this movie today, I don't know if it'd be although to me $1 million, because I ain't got no money. $1 million is a lot of money. You know. I want $5. Yeah, I don't know. I think that today it would be the Brewsters Billions or something like that. Like,
yeah, I actually had a thought, since we really haven't discussed it. He was a minor league pitcher, and his dream was to get back to the major leagues. When he thinks he sees a scout watching him, what did you think about that aspect? How, I don't know if you want to call him dumb, to think that somebody would be scouting him in the middle of nowhere. What did you think of his dream to get back into the major leagues?
He's very optimistic. He's been pitching for 15 years, is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't believe at one point that this man was a baseball player. At one point. Like, I mean, the guy that came up the bat that time, he was believable. I believe he was a baseball player. The dude from Die Hard. I believe him. Or even the bad guy from Over the Top. I believe him. Richard Pryor, not so much. Hey, I do want to talk about one thing though with the baseball stuff. I think I loved John Candy as the catcher.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, I could see, and maybe I'm wrong, but I see the influence of that one character from Sandlot, from John Candy in this movie. Because the way that he kind of talks about the people up the bat and just kind of, you know, like, it reminds me of, you know, the guy that says, "You're killing me, Smalls." That guy. Yeah, that's who. I don't know. Maybe
also Major League 2 with the catcher. He would always talk to the batter, try to get him playing with their mind.
Who was it? Do you remember?
No. It's the only movie I've ever seen him in, I think. But he took over Tom Berenger's role as the catcher in the sequel. So, But yeah, he would always talk to him to try to help Vaughn out. But yeah, and that's what John Candy's job was to do, get inside their head. You know, I mean, help out his pitcher. who dreamed of making it back to the major leagues.
Yeah, I thought that it was fun though, and I thought it was cool. With his dream was to have like I think that he thought too highly of himself sometimes. I think he thought too highly of his minor league team. Like
Yeah.
to ever think you can compete with the Yankees.
Yeah, that
You can't compete with the Yankees.
that wasn't believable. That final game at the end, I was like,
Yeah.
no, it's like taking the XFL, the team that just won, the Renegades, and put them up against
Even
the Chiefs.
the Broncos. No,
Well,
not the Broncos.
I was gonna say
Your
Chiefs.
team. I was gonna say your team. Let's go
Well,
ahead and go
okay,
with
say my team. It just wouldn't be believable they could compete.
No.
I mean, Yankees are top. They're the top team. I mean, everybody loves to hate them, or they love them, but they're always in contention to win it all. Coming to America is the reverse Brewsters Millions. Is it? I've only really seen it once, so
I don't know. I mean, I guess in the sense of Hakeem is coming to America to find a bride, pretending to be poor in order to find somebody that love him for who he is and not for his wealth. Coming to America is the better movie. I would say that. Coming to America to me is like one of my favorite comedies of all time. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I say it's the reverse of this. I would say, if anything, Trading Places is the closest that I can think of because of the whole bet in it and people working against him.
Yeah.
Whereas in Coming to America, there's nobody really working against him other than, I guess you could say, I was going to say Jafar. Is his name Jafar? Jamar. I was going from your boy, or James Earl. The
Prince,
the King.
the King.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Eddie's the Prince. It's been a while since I've seen it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think about Coming to America. Honestly, I immediately think about the sequel and how it tarnished the legacy of Coming to America. Some things is better left not happening. And I think Coming to America, the sequel, it wasn't needed. Just kind of like the House Party movie was not needed.
At least that was a remake.
Yeah, but still, and you had a kid playing it, and they're Illuminati. It's stupid. It's stupid.
I know.
It's stupid. It's gonna make my worst list. Did it come out this year? It's making my worst list. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think that might be that's not my worst film. It's my second worst film though.
Ooh.
Mamma Mia, I think it's what it's called. Mama Mafia, whatever it's called. That's my worst film. I hated that experience. Ooh, wanted to leave so bad.
That's funny. But no. As far as Richard playing minor league baseball in his dreams, I thought it seemed like a guy. You know what it reminds me of? Is it Tony Danza? Who was in I might be wrong. Who's in Angels in the Outfield? Who was the baseball?
Tony's in it, yeah.
Was that Tony? That his shoulder was thrown out really bad? Yeah, so it reminded me of somebody just trying to hang on there, to the glory. But that's love you, Bilfer. Angels in the Outfield is a better movie than this. Not saying that I hate this movie. It just it might sound that way, but I'm just thinking about it, just comparing it to some things. I mean, it's kind of has a very thin premise. It has a great little kickoff idea, but I think Richard, the jokes didn't hit like he wanted them to hit. I think.
Yeah.
But John was great. John was great.
I felt it lost steam, and probably somewhere in the middle. I wasn't as invested in the last act at all, but I thought it did lose a little bit of steam. But I think overall the movie was good. It just lost steam, but I mean, I said, Richard was fine. I think he was good. I thought John was great. And I loved all the other 80 type actors.
You
we
mentioned the
got to see.
grandma. You mentioned
Yeah.
the grandmother from Family Matter.
Yeah, she was the judge when they got arrested at the fight at the bar, and the guy they thought was a scout was bailing them out for who he worked for. So at that moment he still thinks it's a scout. I thought that was pretty funny that he thought it was a scout bailing him out. Once you get arrested, if it was a scout, they're finished with you.
Yeah.
You got to be clean, man. You can't be getting arrested. Think you're gonna make it back to the major leagues. But I like John though. He's like,
now I thought that was funny. The whole court scene with him and John.
yeah,
I thought he worked well with John on that. Like John says, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And then like John starts saying stuff, and then he's like, "Your Honor, I'm not with him."
yeah.
He like just like things, and he's like, and then, but he'll agree with it if it's like fitting him. But then if it's something that's wrong, he's like, "Your Honor, I don't agree with that," or something like that. I thought that they worked well, like in that. That's kind of Richard's thing. It's when he's in trouble and trying to get out of trouble. That's the best thing that I love about Rich Pryor. Anything that he does, he's really good at that. But this isn't probably I wouldn't say that this is Richard Pryor's greatest movie. I would say Stir Crazy is probably my favorite, but because Harlem Nights is more of an Eddie vehicle.
Yeah.
But which I don't think that Harlem Nights is Eddie's best movie either. I would say, honestly, if you ask me, Life. I don't know. I just love Life. Life just.
Yeah. I mean, it's got its comedy, and when it's working as a comedy, it's well. Last time I saw it,
it loses steam though, don't it? Life loses steam in the
well,
third act.
it does, but it doesn't because it becomes more of a drama piece, and it works too. All these comedians get serious, and the matters, the racism of the movie, you feel that, and so I kind of agree that Life is probably my favorite Eddie, not only movie, but I think maybe my favorite performance, and Martin too, even though he's the straight guy, pretty much, and I thought he gave a great performance in that movie.
Yeah, who would have knew that Martin and Eddie, man, would just they work well together in that. Martin, I don't know. We're getting off on a tangent, but Martin to me, man, is one of those guys that when he's on, he's on. When he's on, he's really good.
Yeah.
Now I haven't seen the latest movie with him in it, that like horror movie or whatever. Or
it looks straight to video.
It looks straight. It looks Shudder, honestly. Be honest, but or Tubi, if anything.
But, I mean, it's good that he's getting work. I mean, but you would think he'd get better scripts than what the trailer showed anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if Richard Pryor in this movie. Let me see. Let's see. I'm curious in this movie if he was like just trying to. Let's see. Richard Pryor. Here we go. Richard Pryor Jr. I have no idea who that is. But anyway, guess Richard Pryor Jr. Right? But
sounds about right.
Oh no, what happened? I'm trying. I hate IMDb now because they make things more complicated where you can just look and see the movies you want to see, but now it's like weird. Anyway, never mind. I was curious to know if Richard Pryor was what like in between what projects he was on, or if he was shooting something at the same time as this. Because I felt like Richard. I don't know. I just felt like, sometimes in this movie. I think sometimes he was really on and sharp, but I think there's sometimes in this movie that he was like not as good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But nothing against him because I love Richard Pryor, and I just think that like I'm trying to think of an instance in this movie that stood out to me. Like he was like what now I love the best part in here for me with him and showing his acting ability. A couple of them. One is when John came in, it was like, hey, we got rid of those iceberg things and got you $10 million.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, he's like, I'm right back to where I was, you know.
Yeah.
That was good. But then I thought like that one scene where he's having a conversation with somebody and he says, I am tired of money. I'm tired of spending. I don't want to see money.
Which is what his uncle said
Yeah.
he would be. You know, he wouldn't want to see money. He would hate it. Which he became like that. And I got it, but I don't know. The flow of the movie just wasn't in sync with what it started out as, you know. But I thought he did fine. I mean, it's not a performance I'll probably remember like in a year or two,
yeah, or it's not even a movie that I would say that I would necessarily watch again. Not saying that like because I've seen it this many times. But Richard, let's see, I did pull it up. In 1978, by the way, he was in a movie called California Suites, which is a really bad movie. But that's the only movie with him and Bill Cosby in the movie together, and they were like the polar opposites in stand up. But so Stir Crazy was in 1980. Busted Loose was 81, which is a really good movie. Some Kind of Hero, which he plays like a guy that comes back from like Vietnam, which you know he's more serious for that. The Toy, which is probably his most well-known movie, and that's in 82. Superman 3, that Bifford loves, is in 83. Billy Joe Keeping the Faith is in 84. Brewsters Millions 85. And then his autobiography, it's called JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. That was in 86, which is kind of like the story of Richard Pryor he plays a guy named JoJo Dancer, but it's about his life.
Yeah.
Which was not a bad movie either. But no, I think this is around the same time, like I said, after his accident. He's trying to get his footing back, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt to me. He was just trying to get his footing back. Because if you think about it, there's a space between he did Superman 83. It came out in 83. Let's say it was made in 82. And then his next stuff that came out was 84. So he probably took a break in between that little time to heal up.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen more with him than I have, so.
My favorite scene when Richard was interviewing people to throw away his money and the iceberg helping Arab farmers. Yeah, it was funny. All right, you ready to give your marks for this movie?
I am.
You go first.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was solid, you know. Solid little comedy, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna match your energy. I give it 3.5 out of 5 as well. The reason why I can't get it higher, the only reason why I can't get it higher, is the pacing at some points. It kind of forgot what it wanted to do sometimes. And then I thought that the ending could have been a little bit better. Although he got the money, I wish that we could have seen John or somebody celebrating with him other than like Angela.
Yeah, you would have thought John would have been there with him. But I felt like John kind of faded away in that last act.
You feel like what?
He faded away. Like he just wasn't as needed anymore.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of played his purpose for the movie and, you know, it wasn't about him anymore.
You know, I wonder, honestly, I also wonder how, like, did John Candy and Richard Pryor get along well while this film was happening? Because you would think maybe they didn't John Candy wasn't at the time a huge star. He was still like one of those guys that pop up as the best friend or something like that. But he was really good at that. That was just he could do that and stick the landing. He's the
Yeah.
brother. He's the friend. He's whatever, and he's really great. But maybe it's that John and Richard didn't have the chemistry that they thought that they would have to do something else together. Because John would like with Tom Hanks in Splash was great. I don't know if you ever seen Splash.
I haven't.
Ooh, I might choose it sometime. Yeah, John would. Yeah, I might choose that. But yeah, man, and then John with other people or by himself. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. So
what you got?
what's your score?
I gave it three. I meant
3.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
Next week's your choice. What are you doing?
Oh, next week, Back to the Future Part 2. It's on Peacock. You look confused.
Have we not done them already?
Just did the first one.
Oh, we're going back to okay. Hey, it's a 5 for me, but okay. But yeah, okay. Look at Brandon. Go, Brandon. All right. What do we want the people to do, Brando?
Well, if you like this episode and you want to hear more, click that like button, click that share button, and click that subscribe button so you can follow us and subscribe to more episodes.
Yep. In the meantime, in between time, Aaron Whitlow,
Brandon Spivey.
we thank you for marking out with us here on the Markout Movie Podcast.